Hello and welcome to this EHC TV feature interview. I'm Emily Carrier. Each year, 32 college students are awarded a Rhodes Scholarship to study for 2 years at Oxford University in England. Candidates from about 300 U.S. colleges and universities apply each year. Famous American Rhodes Scholars include NBA Hall of Famer Bill Bradley, singer-songwriter Chris Christopherson, and former President Bill Clinton. This term, Rhodes Scholar, is something we've been hearing a lot about on campus recently because even though he was not named a Rhodes Scholar this year, Emory and Henry senior Kyle Boden was chosen as a finalist for this prestigious scholarship, something an Emory and Henry student has not achieved in more than 100 years. Joining me on set today is Rhodes Scholar finalist Kyle Boden. Kyle, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, I'd like to start, if you will, even before the beginning. Before you got involved in this process, what did you know, if anything, about a Rhodes Scholarship?
Well, first and foremost, you hear about the prestige of the honor and the notable winners of the past that you mentioned. I really didn't know much about Oxford University or the programs that they even offered. And as someone who wants to go into medical school, that's another 8 to 10 years of education. I really struggled at first to understand how the Rhodes Scholarship would kind of fit into my career goals. But as I did, my research and really dove into the process, it gave me the opportunity to learn a lot about, Oxford and what it really means.
So, how did you get involved in this process? Did a professor recommend you?
Yeah, so Dr. Joe Lane, who runs the honors program, one of the kind of big initiatives the college has tried to push here is having more applicants for these large fellowships, such as the Truman Scholarship as well. And so for the Rhodes Scholarship, you first have to receive an institutional endorsement, and there are 16 districts throughout the United States. Mine happen to include the states of Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. And so each school can put out up to 16 applicants per year. Emory and Henry had 2, myself and Colin Christensen. So that's kind of how it gets started. And then each applicant writes a personal statement and fills out an online application. And you're basically ranked from there and selected as a finalist.
So, tell me about the process. How did you become selected as a finalist?
Well, I think that's kind of the big mystery. The panel that I interviewed for, they don't really reveal their opinions about your application. They're very friendly, but it's really a unique process. You're there for 2 days. The first night, it's just a dinner where you're meeting the other finalists, you're meeting the panel, and then on Saturday morning, you get up and you receive an interview slot, and it was 20 minutes. So you basically go in there and you tell your story, and then they select 2 winners. So.
And this 2-day process, where did that take place?
My interview took place in Birmingham, Alabama, and again, with there being 16 districts, the interview locations vary based on the region from which you apply. A Rhodes Scholar can either apply from the state where he attends school or from his home state. And so for me, being from Knoxville, Tennessee, I just applied, from my home state. But there were also applicants who were from California that went to the University of Miami, Florida. So.
Now, I understand in preparing you for this interview, for this panel, the faculty and staff at Emory and Henry set up mock interviews for you. Tell me about that.
Well, they call them murder boards, so they kind of tried to intimidate me a little bit, and a couple of my interviews didn't go so well. I'm thankful for that because it really prepared me for what the real thing was going to be like. But we just had a group of 7 or 8 people who, on 2 different occasions, sat me down for about 45 minutes and asked me different questions that may come up in my actual interview. And it was a great process. Really helped me as I prepare now for medical school interviews or the workforce. And they made it hard on me. So.
And these mock interviews were taped. Now, you just finished up your fourth season in football. Was watching the footage from the mock interviews similar to watching football film for you?
In some ways, it was very similar. You pick up on the things that you need to work on. And football, I was always someone who would pay attention to the little details like footwork or keys. So it was similar in that respect, but it's also a little bit different because it's a very intimate setting. You know, the slightest details, facial expressions, you know, little cliches that you may use. Just it really helps you to kind of hone in on what it is that you need to refine before the real interview.
So you made this big accomplishment becoming a finalist, but is not receiving this scholarship a setback for you or more of a learning experience? What happens now for Kyle Boden?
Well, you know, I've always been someone that believes things happen for a reason, and just being a finalist was an honor. You know, representing Emory and Henry College, and I knew going into the interview weekend that no matter what happened, you know, I was already, you know, a winner, and if I won, it would just be icing on the cake. So, you know, now kind of all my goals are still right there. I plan to go into medical school, and I applied for the Rhodes Scholarship because I wanted to start a nonprofit organization. You know, I have an interest in orthopedic medicine, and I feel like there's a need for better orthopedic care in developing nations. So that was kind of my motivation for applying to Oxford. They have an initiative in East Central and Southern Africa that is addressing those orthopedic needs. And so now I plan to get involved with some medical mission work and to even partner with one of the other finalists down the road to start the nonprofit.
So Kyle, finishing up, how has this process changed you as a person? What are you taking away from becoming a finalist for this Rhodes Scholarship?
Well, just to be in the same room with the institutions that were represented. Emory and Henry College was the only small liberal arts school that was at my particular interview. There was, you know, a second-year medical student at Vanderbilt, a gentleman who is getting his PhD at Stanford, you know, a girl from Harvard, a girl from Princeton. So, you know, you sit in the room and you just really take away, you know, how powerful the Emory and Henry experience is, how, you know, wonderful our education is here at Emory and Henry College, and you just realize that there are a lot of really talented people out in the world, a lot of people that, you know, have a passion for taking on challenging issues. And that was really the takeaway and the motivation when I left Birmingham.
Well, Kyle, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
all your accomplishments.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. This has been your EHC TV feature interview for Kyle Boden. I'm Emily Carrier, and now we'll send it over to Tweet, Pray, Love with Cole Conley.